Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here, and hey, it's about time. It's about time for my bi-monthly balance change kind of proposal video, and you guys get really passionate about this, so hey, feel free to give all your passionate comments in the description below telling me why I'm wrong on every single card that I mention. I actually do look forward to reading your comments, guys. I love the passion that you guys bring to the comments every single day. So let's get into it. Before we do, real quick disclaimer, you guys know two things about me when it comes to balance changes. Number one is I'm a big fan of moderation. I don't like nerfing a card into oblivion or taking a card that's underperforming and making it so OP that it's going to inevitably mean another balance change on the next update. Number two is I don't like nerfing cards unless they really need it. I'd prefer to buff other cards that are natural counters to cards that would otherwise need a nerf. We'll see a couple examples of that in today's suggested changes. And lastly, I won't be including some cards like Heal and Rage and Mirror, Elite Barbarians, Royal Giant. You won't see any of those cards on this list because I'm a firm believer that those cards need more than just balancing and tweaking. Those need reworks, all those cards for different reasons. So maybe that's another video within itself. Anyway, let's hop into the list here. For nerfs, I only have two, guys. Number one is going to be DP, Dark Prince, baby. I love Dark Prince. He's a great card, and I want a very small nerf, very, very small, but it does have the highest usage rate combined with win rate out of any card in the game at tournament level standard and ladder, according to statsroyale.com, in the last 2 weeks. Now, it's a small sample size, but it just goes to show that the meta is really evolving to include the Dark Prince in almost every single archetype. You see Dark Prince in Goizen decks, in Golem decks. You see him in bait decks now. You see him in bridge spam, which is everywhere. So P.E.K.K.A. control, even you see Dark Prince in he's really become kind of to the point where he's boxing out, you know, Royal Ghost and other splash damage cards that should have a lot of utility in the game as well. So I would maybe give a slight stat reduction, either health or DPS, to the Dark Prince. Number two is going to be the Spear Goblin. Now this affects 3 cards: Goblin Hut, Spear Goblin, and Goblin Gang. I love those cards, and I like the Spear Goblin to be strong in the game. However, Goblin Hut continues not to be answered by Supercell. It's dominating competitive play in graveyard decks, in P.E.K.K.A. control decks, and in a variety, even Golem decks, you're starting to see Goblin Hut. It's a negative elixir trade, 5 for 6 when your opponent rockets it. There's just no great answer, and it's annoying, and it does a lot of chip damage. And I do think that the best way to nerf it would be nerfing 2 other cards that have gotten to be a little bit high in usage rates too, Goblin Gang, and it will affect Goblin Gang by nerfing the Spear Goblins, and just the regular Spear Goblins have become a staple in a lot of bait decks now as well because of their zap bait potential. So I would just give a small HP or damage nerf to Spear Goblins. Again, nothing to kill the card, just to kind of mitigate the effectiveness of those cards, especially Goblin Hut. Now, why no Tornado and Poison? I know some of you guys are probably screaming, where's Tornado? It's crazy. Where's Poison? It's crazy. Well, we're going to address the Poison by buffing other spells that should give you other interesting, attractive options for your big spell in a deck. So that should level the playing field is what I'm trying to say here. Number 2 is Tornado. Now, I understand if you guys disagree with me. I do. But Tornado, to me, is a high skill cap card. It's the most interesting, compelling, and fun card to play in the game. It changed the game in so many ways by activating King Tower. That wasn't even a thing before the Tornado. I think the Tornado is one of the coolest cards in the game, and I like that it's really strong. So I'm going to go ahead and go with no touching the Tornado, as much as it's going to irritate and frustrate some of you guys out there. There's no doubt that it's powerful. I just like it. I like it being powerful, kind of like the Miner. I like those cards to be really robust and fit in a variety of decks and change the game, and I like it personally. Okay, let's get to the buffs, guys. So we have a few more buffs than we do nerfs today. Number 1 is going to be another answer to both of the Princes and even other annoying cards. We'll get to it, right? And it's going to be the Bowler. So the bowler is the big fella. Whatever happened to big blue fella? He costs 5 elixir, the same as Executioner, and there's just so many more attractive options, especially at that rarity than the bowler right now. It's not that he's useless right now, but his play rates are really abysmal when it comes to tournament level standard, when it comes to competitive play. I think that does speak volumes. So I think that the bowler should just be given the ability to knock back the charging princes. That's going to be another indirect nerf to both of the princes, and I think that that will fix a little bit of the bridge spam issue that's kind of creeping up into the game in terms of win rates. We saw the bridge spam decks in the Pro Deck Challenge absolutely dominate at the top of the win percentage, so I think that will help mitigate kind of the spamminess of the game and make bowler more viable also in the meantime. So number 2 is going to be lightning. I'll just do these 2 spells like rapid fire, lightning and fireball. So I think that lightning and fireball need a little bit of a buff. Now, why fireball? I actually saw Colton W83 tweet about this yesterday, and he said that he thinks fireball needs to provide a more distinct advantage over poison. Well, he didn't say that, but that's what I'm assuming he meant, right? Because his suggestion was he wants fireball to be just a little bit faster on the delivery. Fireball's meant to be quick, heavy damage, or quick, medium-ish damage compared to like the rocket, right? And that's the advantage it's supposed to have over poison. However, there's not many troops right now where you need that really quick response, so I think that in order to accentuate the value of the inherent value of the fireball over poison, you should give it a quick kind of speed boost. So I agree with Colton there. I would do that to kind of bring fireball and poison more in the same line in terms of usage. Right now, poison's much higher. Lightning too. Lightning's really low right now compared to rocket, poison, fireball, you name it. There's no reason that lightning needs to be that low, right? I mean, it's not useless right now, but you know, all the other spells are so much better options. So I would give a buff to lightning. I'm still surprised that they ever nerfed it, but even if you don't want to touch the radius, maybe adding that stun effect to the lightning would be a great option. Mega Knight. Poor Mega Knight, man. He once ruled the Clash world, and now he's somewhere at the bottom of the barrel. Mega Knight's not useless right now, but like I said at the top of the video, guys, I'm a big believer in moderation, and I think Supercell may have went a little bit too far when nerfing the Mega Knight. If you remember, they didn't nerf, they didn't nerf, they didn't nerf, they didn't nerf, they held off for a long time, and then boom! Or should I say, boom shakalaka. He was nerfed into the ground, right? So I think that what they really should have done now in hindsight, being 2020, is given him a nerf, but maybe about half of what they actually gave. So I would kind of rebuff him up, not to where he was, but somewhere in between, right? There's a big in-between area because it was a big nerf. So that would be my suggestion for Mega Knight. Magic Archer is a great card. However, I think you could use maybe just a tiny haircut, or not haircut, that would be wrong. Maybe some Miracle Grow. God, forget it. Okay, so he could use a little bit of a buff, I think. A little bit more of a DPS buff. Just a small hair, not in his firing rate, but just in his damage. Sometimes he can take forever, even if he does lock on to the target that you want him to. So I think that maybe Magic Archer just needs a little tiny, maybe like a 5% damage buff. What do you guys think about Magic Archer? Maybe, I don't know. It's a close one, but because a lot of pros use him, but then skill cap is so high on Magic Archer. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make an early call on Barbarian Barrel, saying that it will need a buff. I like when Supercell introduces cards that are a little bit underwhelming, and then they buff them after we get a chance to play them in the challenge before they release them and make them kind of viable. So I don't know if that's what they're trying to do. I doubt it's what they're trying to do. But I think that I watched OJ's video comparing Log to Barbarian Barrel. I don't know. I think a lot of the situations where Barbarian Barrel looks really useful are situations that, you know, oftentimes you'd be better served having either a Log and an Ice Spirit for the same cost, or a Log, or just kiting with an Ice Golem or something like that, right? So I do think that it needs to either A, kill archers, so a little bit more damage, or B, it needs to push back the princes or other heavy units. I'm totally cool with its range being limited. I mean, it is 1 extra elixir than the log, but it also has the barbarian at the end, right? But I think that the perks of the barbarian barrel over log need to be greater. So I would, and this is a very early call for me to make. Usually I wait on new cards, but I feel pretty strongly that barbarian barrel does need a little bit of a buff. And the last card today is going to be Skeleton Barrel. Skeleton Barrel, again, it's harkening back to the same kind of mantra we led off the video on, right? And that is, let's not go crazy with these nerfs. We nerfed it from 8 skeletons to 6 skeletons. Let's find a happy medium and give Skeleton Barrel. Did you guys even remember that Skeleton Barrel was still a card? I barely remember. It doesn't see any action anymore. So I would bring it to 7 skeletons, see if that kind of entices people to use it over Spear Goblins, who we nerfed anyway. So guys, do you agree or disagree with my changes? I will link the card popularity and usage rates and win percentages in the description below on statsroyale.com, my new partner here at CWA Mobile Gaming. And of course, a huge shout out to my 1.5 year long partner, Bren Shong. Check out his information as well in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.